Hi, my name is Jill Cargile, and I'm the director of the Intensive English program here at Western Carolina University. Our students come from all over the world to study English. I have lived for about 20 years in France, Egypt, Turkey, and Kuwait. I speak French, Arabic, and Turkish to varying degrees. If you want to say hello in Turkish, the word is merhaba. If you want to say hello in Arabic, it's marhaba, or you can say ahlan wa sahlan, which means welcome. It's also used as hello. The most fascinating part of language learning to me is learning about the culture of the language I'm studying. It really helps you understand the people, it helps you communicate better with them. It also can cause you to have some difficulties if you misunderstand cultural cues. High context communication is communication that is implicit, so it's not through words or language, spoken or written, it's through gestures and body language. Low context communication refers to communication that is explicit, so through language, through asking and answering questions, and through verbal communication. We communicate mostly through speaking, asking, and answering questions in writing or speaking. High context communication people are more commonly in parts of Asia, Japan and Thailand. I'll give you some examples of the Arab world, a lot of Latin America, Africa. Here's some examples of a high context situation that personally I've observed. One is in Thailand. In Thailand, there are 13 different smiles. Each smile means something very different, and not many of them are what we think of as a smile, as someone being happy or polite or kind. Some of them are, but some of them are for different things, like when you're angry or upset. So that can be a real challenge if you're in Thailand and people smile. Even if you know the language, if people are smiling, you might feel like they're always happy, but that's not the case. In Japan, an example of a high context situation would be in a classroom or a work environment where someone asks a question. The Japanese students wait a long time to answer because it's seen as bad form or impolite to answer quickly when you're asked a question. And they also may be in a work environment trying to figure out the hierarchy of who is kind of the more senior person. They would be the ones to speak first. So it can be very tricky. And as a teacher, if you have Japanese students in your class, or as a student, if there are Japanese students in your class, you may want to wait a little bit longer after you ask a question. As a student, you might want to help them, give them a chance to answer. In the US, we tend to answer very quickly as soon as we're asked a question. I have an example from Egypt, which is a very high context culture. This was in my home. I had people over for dinner and a party. I had people from Egypt and other Arab countries, Oman, Saudi Arabia. And my neighbor next door was from Poland, and she brought us a dish of cake as a gift, and it was leftover cake because she was leaving town. It was fresh, it was wonderful cake, I was happy. I took this cake into the dining room to serve to my guests. I had also made them a cake, but this was another cake. And I explained then the neighbor brought it, it was leftover and she didn't want to waste it. And they all looked so disgusted and sick and a little angry. And I realized it had to do with this cake I was holding. So I took it out of the dining room and thought about it and realized I didn't fully understand and I needed to get some more information about it, but I knew that there was something wrong with that interaction. So what I didn't realize in the context, in this very high context situation, which no one would explain, was that you never give leftover food to your guests. That's considered like really rude. So I needed more information. I didn't realize that. I made a big faux pas mistake, and when I got more information, I understood it. I never did that again. So those are my three examples of high and low context cultures. I hope that's helpful.